I had a client a while back who had already booked Maui, hotel, rental car, the whole thing. She'd been following her friends on Instagram, and the road to Hana kept showing up in her feed. It looked incredible. She was sold. Then we got on a call, and I started asking her the questions I always ask. What do you actually want out of this trip? What does a good travel day look like for your family? And almost as an aside, she mentioned that her son had been obsessed with volcanoes for years and really wanted to see a real one. That they loved road trips, that they were specifically trying to avoid crowds this time. So I stopped her and I said, have you ever looked at the Big Island at all? She hadn't. It hadn't even crossed her mind. By the end of our call, she had completely rerouted her trip. And when she came back to tell me about it afterward, it was clear. That was the right island for her family. Maui would have been fine. The Big Island was the one that fit. That conversation wasn't complicated. It was just a matter of asking the right questions before she got too far down the wrong path. Let me ask you the same ones. Welcome back to Hawaii Travel Made Easy. I'm Marcy, and today we're tackling Maui versus the Big Island. We've already covered Maui versus Oahu and the Big Island versus Kauai, so this was the missing piece in the series. And it might be the pairing where I see the most people end up on the wrong island. Let's talk about how to get it right. So there are two ways this decision goes wrong, and they go in completely opposite directions. The first is what I just described, booking Maui because that's where your friends went, or because your Instagram feed is full of it. And Maui is stunning. The road to Hana, the Haleakala sunrise, Molokini snorkel, all of it is real. But if you're someone who gets energized by wide-open natural spaces, who loves hiking and being somewhere that still feels a little wild and unhurried, who doesn't mind some serious time in the car to get somewhere remarkable, you might actually be a Big Island person who just hasn't figured it out yet. The second mistake goes the other direction, booking the Big Island because it came in a little cheaper than Maui, with a plan to mostly hang at the beach and do some easy day trips. I watched this play out, and I'll be straight with you. If that's the trip you're picturing, the Big Island is going to disappoint you. Not because it isn't extraordinary, but because the way you want to use it doesn't match how the island actually works. The Big Island is twice the size of all the other Hawaiian islands combined. That's not just a fun trivia fact. It has real consequences for how you get around. Getting from the Kona side to the Hilo side is 2+ hours each way. If you want to do the volcano and you're staying up in Waikoloa, you're looking at a serious chunk of your day just in the car. That's a great day if road tripping is part of how you travel. It's a frustrating day if it isn't. I tell every client the same thing. If serious driving isn't part of how you want to travel, the Big Island is not your island. That's not a knock on it, it's just what's true. Maui is much more compact. You can stay in one spot, Wailea, Ka'anapali, Kihei, and get around without it feeling like a whole production. It's the kind of place where you can do something ambitious in the morning and still be back at the pool by 3. The rhythm is easy. Maui is for you if you want a beautiful resort base with some really good adventures mixed in. It's also the most romantic island in Hawaii. If you're honeymooning, celebrating an anniversary, or just traveling as a couple who want spectacular sunsets, excellent restaurants, and a beach that makes you want to do absolutely nothing for an afternoon, Maui is built for exactly that. And the food scene is something I don't think gets enough credit. Maui has the rare quality where the Instagrammable spots actually taste as good as they look, which is harder to find than you'd expect. In February, my son made it his personal mission to hit every acai bowl place on the island. Our favorite ended up being Sweet Hula, tucked away in South Maui Garden. So fresh, so flavorful, completely worth the detour. If you're visiting between November and April, whale season adds a whole other layer to Maui. On that same February trip, I was standing on the beach in front of the Hyatt Regency Maui one morning and had spotted a whole group of humpback whales right offshore. I've seen whales in Hawaii plenty of times, usually from a boat or a plane. Standing on the sand with my coffee, watching them breach was something else entirely. The Big Island is for you when the activities are the whole point. My kids could visit Hawaii Volcanoes National Park on every trip and still not get tired of it. There's something about running through the Nahuku lava tube with headlamps on that just never gets old, rain or shine. And right now, the volcano is in an extraordinary moment. Kilauea has been erupting episodically from its summit crater since December 2024 and has had dozens of lava fountaining episodes since then. The eruption itself is within a closed section of the park, but the views from the caldera rim overlooks are incredible, especially after dark when you can see the glow. If that's on your bucket list, this is a really exciting time to go. Beyond the volcano, the Big Island is where you go for night snorkeling with manta rays, waterfall hikes on the lush Hilo side, and chocolate and coffee farm tours in the middle of the island. It's full of experiences that feel like real discoveries rather than attractions on a checklist. But it works best for people who are excited about the journey, not just wherever they end up. If you're visiting for more than 4 or 5 days, a split stay between the Kona and Hilo sides is pretty essential, not just a nice idea. If you're trying to make the call right now, ask yourself one question. Am I going to Hawaii to relax, eat well, and have a few good adventures I'll be talking about when I get home? That's Maui. Or am I going because I want to feel like I'm out there actually exploring volcanoes, waterfalls, marine life, wide open spaces, and I'm happy to build my days around getting somewhere? That's the Big Island. The thing that gets people into trouble is defaulting to whatever their friends did without asking whether they actually travel the same way. Your friends might be beach and resort people and you're a hike to the waterfall person, or the reverse. Figure that out first and the decision basically makes itself. And if you really can't choose, island hop. A flight between Maui and the Big Island is usually under an hour and runs somewhere in the $80 to $100 range each way. If you have a full week or more, doing both is completely doable. Just sort out your car rental through someone who actually compares rates across all the major companies. I use and recommend Discount Hawaii Car Rental for exactly that reason. The link is at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under the Hawaii Resources tab. That's where you'll find all my other favorite planning tools in one place. And if you've already booked one of them and you're past the deciding stage, the dedicated island planning episodes go deep in how to make the most of wherever you're going. I'll link those in the show notes so you can keep going from here. If today's episode helped you figure out which island fits, that's exactly what I'm here for. And if you're sitting on an itinerary that's mostly together, but something about it isn't sitting quite right, that's what the $50 itinerary audit is for. You submit your plan, I go through it, and give you detailed written feedback within 2 business days. Sometimes one read-through is all it takes to catch what isn't working before you're already on the plane. You can find that at hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Itinerary Review. Or if you want to talk through the whole thing together, which island, where to stay, what's actually worth your time, I do 60 and 90-minute consultations. That's the kind of conversation where we figure out who you are as a traveler and build your trip from there. Head to hawaiitravelwithkids.com under Hawaii Travel Consultant to book a time. Thanks so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Aloha.